video we will cover three concepts. We're going to cover the names of the strings, both number and letter. We're going to talk about numbering your fingers and following what we call the 1 finger per fret rule to play in what we call a position. These are different positions. And we're going to talk about numbering the frets and how to figure out what notes they are, what letters on each string. So let's start with the strings, a little bit of orientation here, and these are things you're going to want to memorize and probably drill yourself on them daily for a while because you're going to want to know this information very quickly, very intuitively. So if we start with the lowest string, now low and high, think in terms of music. If I sing a high note, that's very high and very hoarse because my voice doesn't go that high. And then we sing a low note. So most people understand a high versus low note, and that's the way we talk about it on the guitar. So even though this string is the closest to the ceiling, it's the fattest string as well, we call this the bottom string because we're talking about the sound. And if you go across the strings, that is the lowest sounding string. So we call this the bottom string. We also number them though. So the string closest to the floor, the highest sounding string, is string number 1. Then string number 2 sounds a little lower. String number 3 sounds a little lower. String number 4 sounds a little lower than that. String number 5 is even lower. And our lowest sounding string is string number 6. So you number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And backwards 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now what you want to practice is finding your strings quickly. So let's find string 3. Let's try string 2, string 4, string 5, string 1, string 6, string 2, string 4, string 3, string 5. We want to be very quick with that. Now let's name them by letter. The low string is E. The next lowest is A. Then D, G, B, and E again. You're going to want to know that for several reasons. One is you need to know that in order to be able to tune your guitar. And the other is if you're trying to learn something from a teacher or exchange ideas with another musician, you need to be able to know what string you're talking about. So you want to practice it to where you have that memorized very quickly. Now here's a way to remember it. A sentence: Eric ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eric. E, A, D, G, B, E. And you'll want to get it backwards too. E, B, G, D, A, E. You're going to want to know this really, really good. Well, so let's practice. Play your A string. Play your B string. Play your E, high E string. Play your low E string. Play your G string. Play your D string. A, B, low E, high E, G, B, A, D. You'll have to practice a bit to be able to do it that quickly. But that's what you're going to want. Okay, so now that we've named our strings by number and letter, oh, and remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes. So now let's talk about the fret numbers. So the white thing is called the nut, and the white thing on this end is called the bridge. Now if I just pluck a string and I don't touch anything, that's called playing an open string. So if I just take my hand and pluck all the strings, I'm just playing them all open. Now I'm going to play string number 6, or the low E string, and I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to push down right behind this piece of wire. This piece of wire is called a fret. If I don't push hard enough, I'll get a buzzing sound. So I need to use the very tip of my finger. And notice how I arch my finger to push it down. My finger isn't flat like that. I arch it so the tip of my finger can push it. And notice how my finger is very close to the fret. So when I push down right behind that fret, the note then comes from there. It effectively shortens the string and makes the sound higher. So there's open, here's one. Makes it sound like there's a shark coming. Now if I go up, that's the second fret, this piece of wire right here. Third fret, fourth, and fifth. You might notice the dots on here. Not all instruments are exactly the same, but it's fairly standard. Most guitars will have a dot on 3, but not all of them. Almost all guitars will have a dot on 7, a 5, 7, usually 9. Sometimes it's on 10. This one will be on 9 or 10, usually 9. And there's usually always 2 dots at 12. And 12 is what we call the octave. Octave coming from the word 8. And as we learn our notes, you'll find out after 8 letters, we return back to the original letters. This is E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. I hit one wrong note. So if you already know this, you might have caught me, but I pushed a wrong note there. But notice how open E, and then when I go to this E, it's also an E, but it sounds higher. So that's called the octave. So it's really good to not only practice counting up the frets, but also taking a shortcut and know your personal instrument. Because if I say 5th fret, I just know that's my second dot. I don't have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good practice, but it's very slow. So if I say 12th fret, I know it's here. 9, 7, 5, 3. I'm very quick at it. 8 would be just above 7. 4 is just above 3. I can get around the guitar very quickly. Alright, so let's talk about the letters. The way the musical alphabet works, and I'm going to tilt the camera up so you can see it. We use the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. But there are some notes in between. There's a note in between A and B called A sharp. But B and C, they're buddies. Remember that. B and C are buddies. There's no note in between them. C and D, there's a C sharp. D and E, there's a note in between called D sharp. E and F, however, they're best friends. There's no note in between them. And F and G, there's a note between them. Now, we'll take it a little slower later so you can see how that works. But right now, I'll just show you how it lays out on the guitar neck. If I play string number 6, my low E string, F is right here, 1st fret. Because E and F are best friends. But F and G, they have this note in between. So if I want G, I go to the 3rd fret. So I skip one. So here's E is open, F is 1. I skip one to go to G. I skip one to go to A. I skip one to go to B. But B and C are buddies. So C is right next to B. Now I'm going to skip one to go to D. And then skip one to go to E. And E is the octave. When you get to fret number 12, you should be on the same letter you started. So now let's do it on the A string. So the A string is string number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll play open A. And now I'll go to the 1st fret. We don't want that. That would be A sharp. If we want B, we have to skip one and go to the 2nd fret. So A is open, B is 2. Now B and C are buddies, so C will be on the 3rd fret. D, E, so notice I'm skipping one for each letter. Now F, E and F are best friends, so F will be right next to B. I won't skip one that time. G, I'll skip one. And then if I skip one more, I end up on the double dot, which is the 12th fret. That's an A, just like open is A. Okay, let's go to the next string. Eric, A, dynamite. That is the D string. And if I count from this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, D is my 4th string. And so I'm going to play my D string. So I'll start with open. D is open. So for E, I don't play here, I skip one. But from E to F, well, E and F are best friends, so I don't skip one. There's F right there. Now F to G, I skip a fret. G to A, I skip a fret. A to B, I skip a fret. But B and C are buddies, so C is right here. And then I go 2 more to D, and that's my octave. Okay, now our next string, the 3rd string, 1, 2, 3, that's the G string. I know that because Eric ate dynamite good by Eric. So the 3rd string is G. G is open, and you'd skip a fret for A. Now let's see if you can make it up to the 12th fret on your own. And remember, as you go through the alphabet, we use A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And every time you skip a fret, except B to C, because B and C are buddies, and E to F, E and F are best friends. So anytime you're on B, C will be the very next fret. Anytime you're on E, F will be the very next fret. But all the other letters, you're going to skip a fret for that next letter. See if you can do the rest of the strings on your own. And this is something you should practice every day for a while until it becomes easy for you. So, for example, I can go to my 5th string, my A string, and I can say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Yes, if you can go backwards, that's really useful too. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. See if you can practice that. All right, so now let's talk about finger numbers. On the hand that does the frets, so usually that's the left hand, we number our fingers. 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the pinky. So index, middle, ring, it's hard to hold the ring finger up by itself, ring finger, and pinky. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a rule that we can follow sometimes that'll really help us be a good guitar player. If you play the 1st fret, you use the 1st finger. If you play the 2nd fret, you use the 2nd finger. 3rd fret is 3rd finger, and 4th fret is 4th finger. Now I'm out of fingers. So what you can do is you can go open, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you play open, and then you use every one of the 4 fingers, and frets open, 1, 2, 3, 4. All on the 1st string. So that's a lot of numbers. So we have the 1st string, the one closest to the floor. We'll use the 1st finger on the 1st fret. Now let's use this on the 1st string, you'll use the 2nd finger, 2nd fret. Now on the 1st string, we'll use the 3rd finger, 3rd fret. Now on the 1st string, we'll use the 4th finger, our pinky, on the 4th fret. That's a lot of numbers, so you gotta be quick. Let's go to the 3rd string. Eric ate dynamite good. All right, so that's your G. 1, 2, 3. That's your G string, the 3rd string right there. That's a G. All right, so now let's use our 4 fingers on the G string. So we'll play open, 1st finger, 1st fret, 3rd string. 2nd fret, 2nd finger, 3rd string. 3rd fret, 3rd finger, 3rd string. 4th fret, 4th finger, 3rd string. That sounds like a lot, but if you practice it, it'll be easy, and then we can talk about how to play the guitar. This is a great practice, and you should do it as much as possible. Open, 1, 2, 3, 4, next string. 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 Open, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can do it backwards. 4, 3, 2, 1, open, 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 4, 3, 2, 1, open. So if you go all the way up and all the way back once a day, you will become a really good guitar player quickly. It's that repetition of doing it every day that will help you. Finally, what we call that exercise that we just did, we call that playing in the first position. So if you think of the first finger playing the first fret and then following the one finger per fret rule, then you would say you're in first position. Now let's say I do it here. Well, then this is the 5th fret. Remember, the dots are 3 and 5, so this is 5th fret. So I can play 5, 6, 7, 8. And because my index finger is on fret number 5, we call this 5th position. So let's go to the 3rd string, 5th position, and play finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, finger 4, or fret 5, fret 6, fret 7, fret 8. So you can talk about your finger numbers or the fret numbers. And of course we're on string number 3, which is the G string. It'll take a little practice for you to be able to keep up, but when you do, then it'll be awesome because you'll be able to learn how to play music really quickly. And great. So just to recap what we talked about, we named our strings E, A, D, G, B, E, Eric 8, Dynamite Good by Eric, and we numbered them 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We talked about open, when you just pluck a string without any hands. We talked about the frets, these wires, you play right behind them with the very tip of your finger, and we numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We also talked about how to find the letters. We'll review that later. We also numbered our fingers 1, 2, 3, 4. And we talked about playing in a position. This is first position, 3rd position, 5th position.